Hello, everybody. We're back live on Inside the Headset. Going to roll up to the plateau, and it's always a special place, and that's the reason why we're going there on Friday night, and that is for the Blackman Cookville game. And I've got on the air with me the head coach of the Cookville Cavaliers, head coach Jimmy Maynord. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Hey, I'm doing well, Stork. How about yourself?
Always a pleasure and always good to talk to you. Well, tough game last Friday night. Take me through it a little bit.
Well, Stork, it's kind of the same, same song and dance. We got off to a bad start. They kicked the ball off, and we fumbled the opening kickoff. They recovered, and they got a short field about 23 yards out, I guess. And they score and go up 6-0, and we managed to get back there right before the half and go up 7-6, and get a good drive going. But then we cannot stay away from penalties and things. We put ourselves behind the chains and got we get some penalties and puts us second 19 and things like that. And we just can't seem to get out of our own way sometimes. And go in at halftime, it's 20-7, and then we managed to drive the ball down to the 3-yard line, and we stall. We get a dang holding penalty. It knocks us back, and then we end up a yard short there trying to go for it, and we got it down inside the 10 once, and just things like that we just can't seem to shake those penalties and things that really hurt us. We're a team that we don't have that guy that can just go 60 yards and beat you. We have to really work to be able to score, and that's really hurt us. Last year we had a quarterback that could take it 60 yards on you at any point in time, and we don't really have that kind of explosiveness about us, and we just have to, try to stay ahead of the chains. And sometimes when you get behind it, and holding penalties are tough, man, especially when they're on the line of scrimmage. It really makes it tough on you. But anyway, we end up getting beat 27-7. I guess they get one late there, but I will say this: our kids are still trying to play hard, and I appreciate that. We're not a very good team, and that's just the way it is. But our kids are playing hard. Our coaches are coaching hard, and sometimes it's like that. And this is one of those years. I've never have experienced a year like this, but if you stay at it long enough, you're going to.
Well, I was talking to Philip earlier, and he's kind of in the same boat. They do so many good things. You work real hard, you do a couple of good things, you get in a rhythm, things go well, then you throw a pick six. Well, you kind of say, all right, guys, and like you said, then you get it all the way down there. You get it within the red zone. And you know how important and how crucial it is because it's so important. And, of course, there's a little bit more intensity when you've got it in the red zone. But like you said, if you're in the red zone and you're on the 15 or the 13 or anywhere in there and you hold, that's going to knock you back. Now you're not in the red zone no more, and now you've got to get the touchdown's more important. And then when you're behind, 3 points does you no good. I try to explain that to certain people, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. At certain points in the game, a field goal isn't doing you any good. You need a touchdown. You need 6 points.
That's exactly the point that I made with our coaches today. We hadn't attempted many field goals because we've been behind so much that a field goal really does you no good, and you got to try to, when you're behind 2 or 3 scores, you got to try to get 7 points, and 3 does you no good. But it is what it is, and we're going to continue to play and finish this thing out, and our guys are doing that. I look at some other scores and teams that are kind of the same boat with us. And, you look at an Oak Ridge team; they're 2-6, which you would never ever think an Oak Ridge team would be 2-6, and some other programs. And I remember back a few years back at Tullahoma, Tullahoma's always had great athletes. They were struggling to win a ball game, and you go through that. You go through that sometimes, and that's kind of where we are right now with our players, but again, our kids are trying, they're playing hard, our coaches are coaching as hard as they did when we had our good teams, and that's all you can ask.
You know who graduated from Oak Ridge High School?
I do
That's worth
not.
about $16 billion, and he lists himself professionally as a professional blackjack player, a professional poker player, but he's also the president of Dish Network. A guy named Charlie Arigen. He's worth about 16 billion. He graduated from Oak Ridge High School and went on to Tennessee.
Wow.
Yeah, you can look it
Oh
up.
man.
You can wiki that. That's a great wiki to know that. How would you like to be listed in Wikipedia as a professional poker player and a professional blackjack player? He was both. He's known as both.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's the president of Dish Network, so it's kind of wild and everything. Well, let's move on. Up on the plateau Friday night, you got Chandler Tigard, and this is a non-region game, but you've had a chance to trade video with this guy, and the Johnny Manziel type quarterback. He's got a Ben Marshall and he's got a Justin Brown. Going to see a lot of wild. What do you tell your kids? I mean, what do you tell them? To stay in position? What do you tell them?
Well, I mean, they do a lot of things. I've seen them in the single wing. I've seen them, on extra points. They're running different muddle huddles and screens. They're different screens, and they're fast paced. So, obviously we got to try to keep it as simple as we can and try to get matched up on some of the stuff that they do. And they're no doubt a high powered offensive team. I mean, they had a shootout last week with Rockwell, 50-45, and they put 36 points on the board against an Oakland team, which nobody ever does that. And so that just tells you what type of offense they have. They give up some points, but they score a ton of points. And,
Mm-hmm.
they've got athletes. The cupboard's not dry, that's for sure. And they've done a great job of with what they do on offense. And it'll be tough. It's going to be tough. We just hopefully we can. Maybe it's be one of them nights the quarterbacks are not on and the ball may fly in our direction, and we just got to hope for that and play hard and see what happens.
Well, Rick Rice says he loves the base of the offense. He says, if you try to watch what he's really trying to do, and you understand the scheme of it, it's really it's a pretty neat concept if your kids can grab a hold of it and actually run what he's doing.
Well, he definitely they've done a good job with it. I mean, they're if you look at their scores, I'm not sure what they're averaging per game, but nobody's held them down. I mean, they're going to score a lot of points, and they give up some points, but they definitely can put some points on the board, and it's good stuff what they're doing. They've got the people to do it. Like I say, they've got the small quarterback who is, like you said, Johnny Manziel. That's a pretty good assumption right there. He's all over the place.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
he
biggest,
makes plays, and when he lets it out of his hands, man, it zips. He's got a little
yeah,
zip to it. He lets it go, Coach.
yeah, they've got some good stuff on their offensive side of the ball, no doubt about it.
Well, and then if they go wildcat with you with Ben Marshall, you got to stop that guy, and he'll drag three or four down. When you see him in real life, he's a big old tall kid. I mean, he almost looks like you think, man, you could have grown up around here, son. You look like a Cookville kid. I mean, he looks just like he's got that Cookville
Uh,
look. Just that big, husky, broad shoulder type kid, and
we,
runs with a
we, we, we
fierce.
we don't have any of those. We graduated all those, Stuart. We don't have any of those right now.
Well, I hope you find some. I hope some still come out. I tell you what, we're awful excited for Coach Rice. I tell you what, he's had some good success out there and kind of gotten some stuff going. And before I interviewed him on Monday, I said, "Man, you're gonna have 200 people out for football." He goes, I done told Mr. Luker to go ahead and start ordering some more equipment. Everybody in the world's gonna want to play football for Rockville, but that's a great time for a young school like that just starting out. You couldn't write a better story, and I don't think anybody would have predicted where they are right now at 7-1 going into the ninth game.
Well, uh, first of all, he's a great guy and a great coach, and I knew last year we actually we were getting ready to play them, and they had a COVID situation, and we didn't get to play. But I I talked to him at our region meeting and stuff, and I thought last year they had really done a good job defensively, and he told me he had a lot of those kids. I knew they had a lot of those kids coming back, and I knew they were going to be a team that was going to be pretty good in that region, and you're proud for them, and really, no longer than that school's been in existence, they've done a tremendous job for sure.
Well, and that's the kind of team that, even though they're not on your schedule, that's the kind of team you want to jamboree or scrimmage against before you put the Cavaliers in next year. You want to work with coaches like that so that it's good football, don't you, Coach?
Oh yeah, it is, and that's exactly right. And they're nothing fancy. They line up and they block you and they tackle you, and they run the football well, they do a great job.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck Friday night. I know I'll get to talk to you before kickoff. We'll get there early and everything, and if you just send me a roster, I've got a Blackman roster, and we'll be ready to roll up on the plateau. And it's always a pleasure to come up, and I know I'll get myself something good to eat, and always a pleasure to talk to the fine people of Cookville.
Hey, Stork, we look forward to it.
Thank you so much, Coach, for having us, and we'll see you Friday night.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Go
Bye bye.
Cavaliers. Bye bye.